Hi, this is Seth Kabursky, and I'm here with Hamzah Jamjoom, the star of Arabia, the new giant screen film that's premiering at the Orlando Science Center this weekend. As you can see, we are in the giant dome. And
beautiful dome, huge.
Beautiful dome. And
the projector is going to be awesome.
We're here with the star of the film. Mr. Jamjoom, I understand that the film itself is both a travel documentary about Saudi Arabia and it's also the story of your personal journey. I don't want to give the whole plot away, but I was wondering if you could share a little bit of your background, that journey from Saudi Arabia, where you're from, to Chicago, to DePaul University, and then back again.
Yes. So, well, this film is an IMAX movie. It takes you on a journey to the heart of Arabia, which is a land that not a lot of people from this country go and visit. And if you come here and experience this film, you'll be taken on a camel caravan. You're going to go experience a sandstorm, dive in the Red Sea, see the Hajj, the largest gathering of any people in the world. And you'll also come inside the private lives of Saudi Arabians, just like me. You get to come into my house, meet my parents, my sisters, my brother, and see how we deal with things as a family. So it's a beautiful movie, and all this is done with IMAX quality. Beautiful sound, beautiful imagery.
I'm wondering a little about the origin of the film. When did you come to this country? When did the idea of the film come? When did you come into the process of the film?
All right, so I came to the U.S. To study my undergrad in animation. Growing up, I always wanted to make cartoons for my people. Sadly, we do not have a film industry back in Saudi, so a lot of the cartoons were imported from the U.S. or other countries, and it was really confusing for us growing up because we see just like a little mouse running on the screen. We couldn't relate to him. We didn't know what was happening. A lot of the jokes were not Arabian or American, so it was very difficult and confusing for us to understand both the Japanese animations and the American cartoons. So
we're confused by the Japanese animation too.
So I decided to go into animation just because I want my kids to watch cartoons that relate to our Arabian culture and heritage. After that, I decided to go in and study my master's degree in film. That's when McGillivray Freeman Films approached me. It was about 5 years ago. To be part of their adventure into Arabia. I was a film student at the time, so I knew the craft. I'm bilingual, I'm from there, so they thought it'd be a good asset to the production in Arabia. The role that they gave me initially was just an assistant cameraman, which is interesting, not ideal. But then I got to meet Greg, the director, and the production company, and then he goes, you know, you should be in the film. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, just be in the film. I'm like, all right, I'll be in the film. And then it turned out to be, we rewrote the script so it follows me as I go back from Chicago to my country and travel around and rediscover and relearn my culture and heritage. So you see the film through my eyes, and you follow me as I make a documentary about my people.
So you go from behind the camera to in front. I hope you got a raise when they.
Yeah, actually, I worked with the IMAX cameras. I helped write the script. I was both in front of the camera, behind the camera. It was beautiful. It was the best learning experience that I ever had.
Now, you say that Saudi Arabia really doesn't have a film industry, and I noticed from the press release that this is the first major film produced solely in Saudi Arabia.
This is the only movie to be shot completely from start to finish in Arabia.
Is there more of a film industry in the wider region?
Yeah, there is a film industry in the Middle East. If you look at Egypt, if you look at Lebanon, if you look at Morocco, they actually do produce movies. But we specifically in Saudi Arabia, we simply import these films and watch them. Yes, we speak the same language, but the culture is different. The Egyptians and Lebanese are quite different from the Saudi Arabian people. So we're starting to establish a film industry. This is one of my goals. This is why I studied animation. This is why I studied filmmaking, is to hopefully go back home and help establish a film industry. But I was fortunate enough to be part of this movie, Arabia. It is the first movie to be shot from start to finish in Saudi Arabia. Lawrence of Arabia is a great film.
Yeah,
it was not shot in Saudi Arabia.
Right.
There are some few shots in Malcolm X that get some aerial shot of Mecca, but it wasn't. It was filmed in Morocco. But so I am so happy and so glad that we got to make this movie in Saudi. The cool thing is that the producers of this film had to sit down with the Saudi officials and help them write the laws and protocols that allows filmmakers to film in the region. So because of this film, now you can go as a filmmaker and make a movie.
So this film is independently produced. Was it financed by the Saudi government?
No. This film has nothing to do with the Saudi government. In fact, only recently have they seen the film.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was funded by both American and Saudi companies that felt the need to make a movie about Arabia and the culture, since there are a lot of misperceptions about Saudi, Islam, and the Middle East in general. So it was a collective effort from both American companies and Saudi companies to produce this film.
Tell me a little bit about working with the IMAX cameras, because from what little I know about them, they're extremely large, extremely heavy, extremely expensive,
and noisy.
Yeah. And it's got to be bad enough using those in a studio environment. How do you use those out in the middle of a desert on a camel caravan?
So the IMAX cameras are big. The IMAX 3D cameras are even bigger. So we were shooting with the 3D IMAX cameras, one of only 3 in the world. And they are the size of a fridge. They're heavy, it takes 4 strong men to carry it around. And we were filming in the desert. Sand was blowing in our eyes, heat was always above 120 degrees, humidity above 100 degrees always, or 100%. We had to get these gigantic cooling trucks to keep ourselves and the cameras from melting.
Wow.
But it was an amazing experience. These cameras are huge, and they capture the best quality film out there. With Hollywood cameras or the normal film cameras, they're 35, so the negative is this small. It's not small, it's actually quite big. With the IMAX cameras, they're 75 millimeter, which means on a big screen like this, if you shoot an aerial shot of a city, which we do in this film, of Mecca, people just going around performing the pilgrimage, you can actually see the individual faces of each and every single person in the shot.
Wow.
That's incredible. It's not even HD. This is like super high resolution.
Have you had a chance to see it on the big screen here yet?
I have. I've been fortunate enough to see it at least 120 times. All kind of screen, dome screens, 3D, 2D, you name it. Amazing. So it's amazing how crisp and beautiful the IMAX format is. And the sound is also immersing and beautiful.
Yeah. Speaking of the sound, I noticed that the narrator of this is Helen Mirren.
Yes.
And I think Helen Mirren, distinguished award-winning British actress, I don't necessarily think Saudi Arabia. I'm wondering how that came together, what her relationship to the project is.
Well, we were looking for people to narrate the film, and looked around. We were thinking of different actors. I'm not going to mention names. But then Helen Mirren came out of nowhere. She is so amazing. She was so kind enough. She's interested in making a movie about Saudi Arabia. She got nominated for Academy Award for The Queen, or did she win it? I don't remember. She probably won it, yeah. So she was excited to make a movie about Saudi, and she wanted to help us narrate this film. So we sat down with her. I had to teach her to pronounce some Arabic stuff like Mecca, Medina, Riyadh, so on and so forth. It was beautiful working with her, so professional, so excited, wants the people to learn more about Arabia and just the truth about the culture. So,
I think the part of the film that I'm most interested in seeing is the part about the Hajj.
Yeah.
Because it's something that so few people outside of that will ever get to see. I'm Jewish, so legally I wouldn't even be allowed in the city. I'm wondering, you mentioned Malcolm X. I know when Spike Lee went there, his crew had to convert to Islam. There were a lot of hoops to jump through. I'm wondering what kind of procedures you had to go to get that right.
So basically, as you said, the Hajj, not a lot of Muslims even experience the Hajj. You have to go through a visa process to be allowed to perform the Hajj. Millions and millions of people come. At least 3 million people converge in one spot, Mecca. So the government has to regulate the amount of people who come in, so that's why they only allow Muslims. Some people are on the waiting list for 25 years, if not 30 years. So we were fortunate enough to get the best cameras out there, best helicopters out there, and film this experience that not a lot of even Muslims see that. And we get a lot of attendance from the Muslim community because it is the first time that they have ever seen Mecca, Medina, and the whole process of the pilgrimage. So it's great to capture that on film and on the best quality film. The process that we had to go through to film in these regions was very tedious, just because there is no film industry. They don't have any kind of regulations or rules. Even if you want to film down the street in Saudi, they don't have any laws. So we had to go through a lot of connections. The investors had to go talk to the government. We explained to them the importance of making this film, and luckily they understood it, and they were very, very kind to us, and they allowed us to do that. But it took 4 years of producing. So the producers take all the credit for making this happen.
Well, great. Well, thank you so much for talking with us. Absolutely. And I'm looking forward to seeing the movie.
Absolutely. Thank you for meeting with me.
Best of luck.
Thank you.